Welcome to zebracode.io, and now that we've learned some basic Python commands and we can type those in at the Python command prompt, we want to take it a step further. We want to actually create some scripts and run those scripts. So we're going to be learning about how to navigate the command line. And we're using two environments as we've talked about before. We're going to learn both Windows and Linux/Bash, and you can use either one or the other, and throughout this course we'll be alternating between either of these, so you should be familiar with both of them, at least in concept. So we want to be able to create .py files. We want to be able to navigate to that file. We want to be able to edit the file, and then we want to be able to execute or run the script. Again, we want to do those in both environments, Windows and Linux. Now, we've seen this before. This is the Python command prompt, and it's great for typing in a few lines of code, but what we want to instead use is the command prompt for Windows. In this case, it would look something like this. Of course, you wouldn't have users or the same usernames that I have, but you would have something like a C or D drive, a colon, slash, and then ending with this one greater than sign. That's the prompt. Now, for the command line for the bash symbol, it's typically, or it's often, a $sign, but it might be something slightly different. But either way, whenever you get these prompts, whether it's on Windows or the bash, it says that the computer is waiting for you and it's ready for you to enter your command, so you can start typing those in. Now, these are the basic navigating for directories and folders. These are the commands, and they are, the first one, dir and ls. So in Windows side, it's dir. That means to display the contents of the directory, or dir. I'm not exactly sure what it means, but dir is the command. And ls is list. That means list all the commands in the directory, and it's going to show all the files. Now, if we want to move into a directory, if we want to move into a folder or directory, and I'll use directory and folder simultaneously or interchangeably, they mean the same idea. I can do cd and then type in the folder name. If I want to move up a folder directory, I can do cd space ... If I want to create a directory, I do mkdir, which means make directory. If I want to delete a directory, it must be empty. That's rmdir. That means remove the directory. And if I want to delete a file in Windows, it's del. Or if I want to delete it in the Linux environment, it's rm. So those are the basic commands that we need to become familiar with in order to navigate the command prompt. Most of the time, the Linux command is the same as the Windows command, and there's only a couple cases where they're different. So just remember that as you're working with either the Linux environment or the Windows environment. And again, the bigger picture of why we're doing this, we need to, from the command line, be able to create directories and create files or edit them. We'll be using text editors, as I'll discuss shortly, but we need to do this as we're creating larger and larger files, and we'll be creating our Python in the extension .py files, and that's where when we execute that code or execute that script, then our code will be running in those .py files. Next, let's consider text editors. Now, when we're working in the Windows environment, which we've downloaded, there is a utility that comes with Python. It's called idle. We'll be using that text editor to edit or to change and to write our code in the Windows environment. Also, an alternate editor, which we can use standard Notepad. And for the Linux or Bash environment, we're going to be using an online browser-based system. That's at Python Anywhere. They have a browser-based system where we can actually edit files within there, but we can also use Nano if we want to edit the files directly a little bit. We're going to learn about it from the command line. Now, it's not critical to learn how to edit everything from the command line because it's much easier using the graphical interface with idle for Windows and also the browser-based system at Python Anywhere for the Linux environment. As you're watching these concept videos, make sure you're taking good notes. You should be comfortable with the command cd space ... or mkdir or del. You should be familiar with those because when we go through the demos, we're going to demonstrate both those commands in the Windows environment and on the Linux environment.